everybody? JC here, and welcome to another edition of TNInews Live. It is the Wednesday edition, and we've got actually quite a bit to cover today. Some fairly interesting news has come out over the last couple of days, which I thought we would discuss today. But before we do that, let us just do a quick roll call. Let's see who is in the house. We've got John. Good to see you, my friend. We've got Zim00. Mr. Allmine is also here. Always good to see Action Figure Enthusiast channel members in the house. John Brooks is in the house from Ireland. Always good to see you, my friend. We've got Austin in the house. Good to see you here. We've got Road Geek 1973 in the house. 777 says, hello, happy mid-January. Yeah, I guess we are at the midway for the first month of the year. How time flies. Everett is here. Good to see you, Everett. We've also got Hanzo. What's up? Hope New Year's treating you well. Same to you, my friend. And we've got Figure Fury is also in the house. Let's see. We got the Mass Figure Collector from the UK. Yes, my family as well. Hopefully yours is good as well. So pretty full house here. Like I said, we've got quite a bit of news to cover today. So let's just kind of jump into things. So as always, we often like to start with Marvel. So let's go with there. So first of all, for you McFarlane fans, if you've been collecting the McFarlane statues, the 1/6 scale Spider-Man and Thor based on... what issue of Thor was this supposed to be based on? I'll tell you in a second because I forgot. Issue 177. There we go. So issue 177, Thor. These are 1/6 scale, and then the symbiote Spider-Man when he first got the symbiote costume from the Secret Wars storyline. That also went up for pre-order. So those are $49.99 each. We also, for 1/10 scale, got Daredevil, another Spider-Man, Jim Lee, Cyclops, Jim Lee, Cyclops, Storm based on McFarlane from a reprint issue actually, but in her classic costume, and Sam Wilson as Captain America. So those all went up for pre-order today. This is like the third one they've done based on X-Men #1, third or fourth. They've done Wolverine, Magneto, Cyclops. I think those are the only three they've done so far. But eventually they're going to do the whole team. But let's get into Marvel Legends. So on Monday, if you caught the Monday live stream, I told you how we would be seeing the No Way Home Electro figure going up for pre-order on the 30th. And I had actually said I didn't think they were going to do a live stream between the 30th, between Monday and the 30th. But I was wrong on that. They are, in fact, going to be doing a live stream. The Marvel Legend brand team is going to be doing a live stream this coming Friday. So mark your calendars if you haven't already, 11 a.m. Eastern time on the Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel. Of course, we'll have full coverage of everything revealed on Marvelous News as it happens. And I will be coming at you later in the day, the same time, and we'll go over everything that they reveal. Now, what they will reveal does remain a bit of a mystery. Obviously, that No Way Home Electro figure will be one of the figures that they announce, because again, it should be going up for pre-order on the 30th of this month. But that is the only Marvel Legend figure I know of going up for pre-order this month. That doesn't mean there couldn't be others. Well, not counting the Professor X Target exclusive that's going up for pre-order tomorrow on the Target website at 9 a.m. But as far as like new reveals during this fan stream, I don't know, unless something that hasn't been announced yet is going up for pre-order. But right now, like I say, besides this week's Target exclusive and then the Electro on the 30th, I suppose more things could go up on the 30th besides just Electro. So that's a possibility. Sorry, a little parched there. But what could we see? So that is the big question. Of course, everyone always asks when these live streams come out. And again, I cannot tell you other than the electro what we will be seeing, but we can go back to our rumored list and maybe get a pretty good idea. So I'm going to guess that we're going to finally see this Marvel mini comics wave that I told you guys about back in, what was it, November of last year. So this should be the wave that has that ROM figure that they've shown us prototypes for a couple of different times. They announced it originally back at San Diego Comic-Con last year that it was coming. And so that'll be in the wave. Banshee in his green and yellow classic costume should be in this wave. A new Adam Warlock, a new Miles Morales Spider-Man, a Dark Avengers Wolverine, and Ultimate Iron Man will round out that wave. So I feel like, again, this is a guess, but it is a guess based on some things that I've seen. So it's not just a random guess. There's a lot of rumors out there right now, obviously, but there are things that I've seen that would indicate certain figures are likely going to get released sooner rather than later. So, and one of those things I've seen would suggest possibly that this wave is going to get released earlier in the year rather than later in the year, which is why I think it's a good possibility. This is what they will end up showing us this coming Friday. But again, that is a guess on my part. Another possibility could be those ultimate figures that I've talked about before, not ultimate as in based on the ultimate comics, but ultimate as in deluxe type figures chocked with a lot of accessories. We might start seeing those. The first two figures in that line will be Hulk and Spider-Man in his red and blue costume. So I could possibly see those getting revealed. There's also the X-Men 97 wave, though we just got an X-Men wave, so I don't know if they would do another X-Men wave so quickly, but there's always that possibility. There's some Gamerverse figures that we're going to be seeing this year, so that's a possibility. Also, the rumor of Marvel versus Capcom. That was not my rumor. That was a rumor from David displaying model behavior. So I've not seen anything for those at all. So that doesn't mean they're not coming. In fact, Hasbro seemed to be strongly hinting in their last live stream that we would be seeing, maybe Marvel versus Capcom figures. Now, keep in mind, these are just Marvel figures. There are no Capcom figures, no Street Fighter figures with these. It would just be, Marvel versions based on the Capcom game. So if you want Street Fighter, Capcom figures, you're going to have to look at somebody like Jada Toys, which do, I think, scale pretty well with Marvel Legends. So, but, if we get a Marvel versus Capcom wave, there aren't going to be no actual Capcom figures. But according to displaying model behavior and his rumor about that line, Shumagorath, Juggernaut, a 2-pack with Captain America and Venom, War Machine and Omega Red, Wolverine and Silver Samurai, and Psylocke and Thanos. So again, I have no info on that, which is why I tend to think it is going to happen, especially since Hasbro was hinting at it. But I feel like that's something probably more likely to come out later in the year. And therefore something I wouldn't necessarily expect to see revealed this week. Again, that's just a guess on my part, so we'll have to wait and see. But if I was just like gonna place a bet on what's revealed, the main things I would say in my guesstimation is the Marvel mini comic wave, and then the No Way Home Electro. Could be some other store exclusives out there that they could end up revealing. And I'm sure they'll hint to some things as well, give us some clues to upcoming things as well. So, but I really wouldn't expect a whole lot more than a full wave and then, the Electro. And then, like I said, maybe if they have any more store exclusives planned, we could see those. So that is what we've got. And again, we'll know for sure in just a couple days on Friday. And of course, again, I'll be back here on Friday afternoon to talk about everything that does get revealed. See, what are you guys saying in the comments section? Daredevil, Born Again, Marvel Legends. Everett, certainly I feel like that's something that could come, but right now I don't think so. Even though we did just get the new trailer today, which looked pretty good. If you haven't checked that trailer out, I recommend that you do. Because if you're a fan of the Netflix Daredevil, it very much looks like this is in keeping. In fact, I believe Daredevil Netflix is now canon in the MCU, and this is like 5 years later. The masked figure collector. What figures would you like to see from the 80s and 90s, please? Oh, I mean, just like any figures. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, my things were GI Joe, Transformers, Star Wars, some He Man. So I feel like for me personally, I've gotten the things that I really want. Um, so there isn't anything, at least off the top of my head, that's like I've just been dying to get. I'm interested to see what the Loyal Subjects mask line is going to look like. Some things like that. I definitely want to see, Battle of the Planets, Raymond Toys, Gotcha Man, however whatever you call them. I am interested to see that line because that was a cartoon when I was a little kid that I used to watch and always wanted good toys. So we'll just jump ahead to that. We got to look at the prototype for the Eagle Sharp vehicle. So 124 scale is what this is going to be. And I guess that's a look at the figure. So smaller scale here doesn't bother me because we're getting the vehicles. And as long as all these vehicles actually combine into the big ship, then I will definitely be happy with that. I don't know for sure if they do, but I see like the wings look like they fold up and everything. So that would be awesome if they can make that happen. So I guess got somebody to complete Gacha Man. At least the team, Storm Collectibles started, but they seem to peter out, and nobody ever seems to actually end up doing the whole team. So I'll go with that. Let's see what else we got. Galaxy Rangers, Phil. I guess that's one he wants to see. We got cops coming. That's more 90s, I guess. But Fresh Monkey Fiction, will probably be that their first cops figure should be going up for pre-order. Dinosaurs still. Do you think Storm Collectibles? Unfortunately, I don't. Or even if they do, I'll be like 100 years old by the time they actually got the whole team out. So, um, they showed off a third one, which they never, has yet to ever go up for pre-order. Um, so, like I say, I feel like that for whatever reason, Storm Collectibles has, whether they didn't sell well enough or what, has maybe kind of moved on. But like I say, even if they haven't and they end up still releasing figures, um, it does it does it would be a very long time before they got it done. All right, let's going. We started talking about Loyal Subjects. It was announced last year that they're going to be doing Mask and a few others, but we got new updated images. If you're a Gem the Holograms fan, this is more of a doll than an action figure. It's 12 inches. But again, speaking of 80s properties, this is going to be released as a Walmart exclusive. Gem comes with a number of accessories. You can get her in her Gem look or her alter ego look, or not in her, you know what I mean. not really alter ego, well, kind of alter ego, I guess. But I never really watched Gem. The theme song, from the commercials would stick in my head, but I was never really a big Gem fan. But I know there are fans out there, so this will be $24.99 and supposed to be out in February, and again will be released at least here in the U.S. as a Walmart exclusive. And no, still no indication of what we're going to see for masks from them, other than they're supposed to be in scale with the original toys. But we have not gotten any images. But I'm guessing probably fairly, within the next couple of months, we'll hear more on the Gem front. For you NECA fans, we've got a preview for the Howling. This is their werewolf figure, so if that's something you're into, this is something you might want to check out. Again, just this preview image, no other information at this time, but it looks like the Howling is going to be coming. Also, thanks to Paul Harding, who is a sculptor that works for NECA. He's given us an updated image of the Count for their Sesame Street Ultimates to go along with Bert and Ernie. Bert and Ernie are available for pre-order now. The Count has yet to go up for pre-order. They showed it off at San Diego Comic-Con, but that one is yet to go up for pre-order. So hopefully that will be going up soon. Also from NECA, from Universal Monsters, Ardeth Bay is getting a figure treatment. So this one is getting this one went up for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. Probably a few other retailers. Entertainment Earth has not been putting up a lot of NECA stuff for pre-order. I don't know what their thing is with NECA these days, but they seem to not be listing new NECA products for pre-order. But this is, again, available for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store if you are into the Universal Monster stuff. Of course, it is a 7-inch scale figure. Nothing else much on the McFarlane toy front. Only thing new since Monday is we got a preview image for Flavor Flav as part of their 6-inch Music Maniacs line. So this is going to be going up for pre-order on the 17th. So this will be going up on Friday. So 12 p.m. Eastern time, just like on the clock there, is when the pre-order will open for this one, and it should be available everywhere. All right, let's get into a fairly kind of, I won't say kind of shocking, but not, if you really have kind of followed along, not super surprising, I would say. But Diamond Comics Distributors has filed for voluntary Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So Chapter 11 bankruptcy doesn't mean like everything they're going out of business right away. It means they're restructuring. They basically getting protection from their creditors while they restructure, hopefully to come back and be able to start operating as a prosperous business. But besides just the shock of hearing Diamond Distributors, if you're not familiar, Diamond Distributors, obviously, they're a company based in Maryland. For many, many, many years, they were basically the sole, I won't say sole, but they basically had developed essentially a monopoly on comic book distribution to comic book stores, which is how they got very big and such, because essentially they were the only game in town if you were going to open a comic book store and you wanted to order comics and even toys and stuff. Diamond was usually the place people went through. Now, I think it was around COVID time a few years ago. Companies like DC and Marvel basically broke away from Diamond and started allowing other distributors to distribute their products. So essentially kind of breaking the monopoly that Diamond had. Now, I'm not an expert on the comic side of the business. And actually I was hoping maybe Quinn's Comic was going to be here today and maybe he could share some thoughts on this. But as far as the comic book side goes, like first of all, I don't think you have to worry about whether your comics are going to show up. If if you get new comics every week, they should continue to show up at your local comic shop or wherever you get them. So that shouldn't really have any effect, at least in the near future. But I don't know how exactly this is going to hurt small comic book shops. I feel like a lot of comic shop owners probably had a pretty good inclination that this was coming. So hopefully this didn't really catch any of them by surprise. But the most interesting thing, as far as as far as those of us, action figure collecting, is Diamond Distributors owns companies like Diamond Select Toys. They own Gentle Giant Studios, which do make toys. And according to this press release that was put out yesterday, they're basically starting to shop those around, looking for potential buyers for those companies. The Collecting Grading Authority is another one. There's also I think it's pronounced Hawks Auction House or something like that, but they specialize often in doing auctions for people with large, expensive comic and toy collectors or collections. So that's not mentioned in this press release, but I would expect that they could end up selling that off as well. So the fact that they're selling off all these companies that they own, obviously that would be in part restructuring, trying to downsize, make themselves more lean, and possibly so that they're not taking losses. I don't know, but mainly, if they're going to start selling like Diamond Select Toys off to somebody else, first of all, the question is there somebody that's going to be interested in buying like a Diamond Select Toys? And then if they do, what would they do with it? Would they absorb it into their existing business, which is usually what happens when a larger company buys another company? They absorb it in, and the older company kind of disappears. The other thing, which I'm not an expert on, but like those of you, when you think of Diamond Select Toys, a lot of you think of Marvel Select figures. Well, Marvel Select is not an actual license that Diamond owns. They pay Marvel to have the rights to do those figures. But if they sold Diamond Select Toys to another company, that doesn't necessarily mean those licenses would transfer over. And somebody might be interested in pursuing with Marvel taking over like a Marvel Select type line, but they wouldn't necessarily have to buy Diamond Select Toys to do that. So like say McFarlane Toys, who has definitely expressed interest in doing Marvel figures, starting with their statues. I don't think they're going to be taking over Marvel Legends anytime soon, but they might 7-inch figures that are sold directly to the specialty market, so they're not that drastically competing with Marvel Legends. Different scale, different type of articulation, that type of thing. That's something I could see McFarlane maybe eyeing, and maybe starting talks with Marvel, or already started talks with Marvel about maybe taking over essentially that line. Might not be called Marvel Select, but it would essentially be the same kind of thing. 7-inch figures sold direct, a limited number of figures they release each year, sold directly to the specialty market. Same thing they essentially like with DC Direct. They didn't buy DC Direct, but with the license, DC Comics owned DC Direct. But essentially McFarlane has taken over doing a lot of the stuff that DC Direct did. So Quinn is in the house, so good to see you, Quinn. Happy anniversary! I saw you and your wife are celebrating your anniversary today, so hopefully you have a good evening with that. But in regards to distributors, having multiple distributors to go through is a pain in the butt. I preferred having one main distributor to go through. It was much easier. At least Diamond Comics distributors will answer the phone. The other distributors I have to deal with, like Lunar, PRH, never answer the phone, nor have I ever spoken in real person. See, and not because I've heard a lot of other people say that Diamond has been a pain in the ass to deal with, but you're kind of saying otherwise, that the Diamond has actually been pretty good for you. So, um, and we're talking about the comic distribution side of things. So, um, but yeah, I could definitely understand having not to go through multiple distributors and just having one would be easier for comic book stores. John says, could this issue with Diamond have anything to do with the delay of? It's possible. I mean, so this is generally what happens when a company kind of goes down this, you know, heads down this way. First thing they start doing is they start cutting like mad, cutting expenses like mad, whether it's laying off large amounts of employees, whether it's cutting, expenses in other ways. Um, and then, of course, that generally causes a decline in whatever service or getting products out on time, things like that. So, yes, delays with like Marvel Select Figure very much could be related to what's going on with the overall company. Um, I don't, again, all I have to go by is the press release right now. So, Diamond is still, at least to the public eye, is operating business as usual. So, no indications that Diamond Select Toys is going to stop releasing things or anything like that. But definitely, could be causes for declines. And something like, and if something is solicited for like, to come out a year from now, something like that, I would definitely be more inclined to say, good possibility maybe that doesn't end up ever actually getting released, that type of thing. So, it's hard to say until, we get more details or we find out what happens with Diamond Select Toys. Again, this press release says they're shopping it around, but it's possible they're already talking with somebody about Diamond buying that, buying Diamond Select Toys or something, and they just haven't given us those details. So it is very hard to know exactly. But yes, delays, I definitely feel like is quite probable with things like Diamond Select Toys and stuff. And even if like people haven't been fired, just morale. I mean, you got to imagine if you're working at a company and you've heard it's filing for bankruptcy. And I don't know how widespread that information was within the company. It can vary from companies, but a smaller company like Diamond, I feel like a lot of people within the company had to have known this was coming. But, I can't say that for sure. So I don't know. Quinn, Diamond has a couple of potential investors interested, and one has a potential LOI with a. Yeah, that's for the distributor company, but that's like putting money into Diamond. But again, I'm just going by what the press release says. They're already planning on selling off Diamond UK, which I don't know much about Diamond UK, but Diamond is actively pursuing offers for and has received interest from potential purchasers for its other business units, including Diamond Books Distributors, Collecting Grading Authority, and Diamond Select Toys. So, at least according to this, it does sound like they're in talks with selling those companies off to somebody else. But like I say, if somebody buys Diamond Select Toys, my guess is, and this is just a hypothetical, but say McFarlane Toys bought Diamond Select Toys. I feel like, again, McFarlane would be more interested in maybe pursuing some of the licenses that Diamond Select has, as opposed to wanting to just buy Diamond Select Toys. But just for the sake of an example here, let's say McFarlane Toys is in talks with Diamond Select to buy, or McFarlane Toys is in talk with Diamond Distributors to buy Diamond Select Toys. If that happened, I don't think you would necessarily see Diamond Select Toys continue as a separate entity. Maybe for a little while, but eventually I think it would just get absorbed into McFarlane Toys. maybe if it was a figure that was originally done through Diamond Select Toys, you would continue to see it, just like we do with like the DC Direct stuff that McFarlane releases, But as a actual separate entity company, I don't think that would continue if somebody like a McFarlane bought Diamond Select Toys. And again, not saying McFarlane's buying Diamond Select Toys. I'm just saying, using that as an example of where I could see this going. I've been in business 7 years, and if I had an issue with Diamond, they fix it fast. And that's great. I love to hear that. It's just many other comic businesses that I've heard, have sung a different tune. In fact, somebody was telling me that like it was always a pain in the ass, but in the last several months, it's been even harder to deal with them because essentially they're not returning calls and stuff. But when Quinn's putting in good word for Diamond, and so I take Quinn's opinion holds more weight with me than just some random guys that I hear online sometimes. I guess is where I'm going. If they sell off Diamond Select or Alliance Games in order to keep going, that's fine. It isn't like the two will go away. Well, again, I would imagine if somebody buys Diamond Select Toys would probably go away. Some of the products they do wouldn't maybe go away, but I would be very surprised if somebody bought Diamond Select Toys and kept it operating as a separate entity over a long period of time. That's just based on my observations. When one business buys another business, it usually ends up where the business that got bought out ends up getting dissolved into the business that it got bought. Restructuring is different from bankruptcy. Yeah, I'm aware of that, Quinn. But again, they are actively selling those companies. So restructuring just means they're trying to essentially decrease their debt and find a way to be profitable. That's all it really means. And certainly selling off businesses is a way to do that. But it doesn't, I guess I would put it this way. If I was running a comic book store at this point, I wouldn't necessarily be totally bailing on Diamond Select Toys, but I would definitely, if all my eggs were in the Diamond, not Diamond Select, I keep saying Diamond Select, Diamond distributors. If all my eggs were in the Diamond distributor basket, I'd be starting to look at other baskets so that if Diamond ends up completely folding at some point, I will be able to weather that storm. And you probably are already thinking that as well, but that's where I would be at this point. I would be like, yeah, it's going to suck to have to go to different distributors, but I think it's probably time to start looking at other options so that, something bad does, if the worst happens, my business will be able to continue to thrive without much disruption. Diamond, yeah, they have, but again, the market has changed drastically. They've lost their monopoly on the comic book industry. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of companies that have been around a long time have gone out of business. So, like I say, my advice would be just, don't have all your eggs in one basket. All right, so that's it. And like I said, when we hear more, and I'm sure as the months go on, we will get more details on that. I'll be sure to share that with you. But again, for me, I feel like Diamond Select Toys will end up, if it gets bought by somebody, will end up essentially kind of going away, but over time at least. That's just my personal feeling. And that's my focus, is because that's the toy company portion of Diamond Select Toys. Again, the comic side is not something I follow nearly as closely, other than I have seen the reports about when they lost the monopoly and DC and Marvel started doing using other distributors and things like that. All right, I want to get into Transformers. So here, real quick, we've got a new pre-order for Rat Trap, the Masterpiece version. This went up for pre-order at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. For you Beast Wars fans, this is one you might want to check out. $104.99. It's been a long time since we've had a G1 Masterpiece that's not just like a reissue or something. So I only do G1 myself, so this one doesn't have much appeal to me. But again, that went up for pre-order today. Yesterday we had several pre-orders. So I told you on Monday how the Trypticon repaint was going to be going up, which it did. Cartoon colors, $200. It's kind of expensive. I mean, if I had to pick between the cartoon colors and the toy colors, as the original one was, I do think the cartoon colors look much better, but this one is $200, so I won't be getting it. I didn't get the first one, and I was never a huge Trypticon fan anyway. I prefer Transformers that actually transform into robots, not, if his transformation was robot, dinosaur, and city, then Trypticon would be a much more interesting character, but he has no actual robot mode. He has dinosaur and then these kind of battle station modes. So I never had the original Trypticon as a kid either. So I had Metroplex, but I didn't have Trypticon. But besides that, we also had some other Transformer pre-orders that went up yesterday. So jump over here. So Jazz went up, Studio Series, Deluxe Class. We have for Cybertron Studio Series, Gamer Edition, Ironhide, another Optimus Prime. Seems like Optimus Prime goes up for pre-order every month. Devastation Studio Series, Deluxe Class Optimus Prime. Dark of the Moon, Deluxe Class Wheeljack. Age of Extinction Studio Series Leader Class Optimus. I don't think all of these went up, but I think these first ones went up for pre-order yesterday. Double checking. Amazon exclusive. Age of Prime's Wreck and Doom Collection, Top Spin and Spin Master. I knew Trypticon was going up. I kind of lost track on these others. Age of Primes. This was the Amazon exclusive. Trypticon. That's not an Amazon exclusive. That's everywhere. Jazz. Wheeljack from movies. And the Optimus Prime. And the movie Optimus. And that Gamer Ironhide too. So those were your new. Oh, one more. Shockwave, movie Shockwave. So those were your new Transformer pre-orders. But in what was kind of a surprise announcement, Hasbro has said that they are going to be announcing their next Transformer Haslab. That's not too surprising. But what is surprising is where they're making the announcement. MegaCon, which is in Orlando, Florida, which takes place on February 6th through the 9th, is where they plan on announcing their new Haslab. Now, Hasbro's never attended MegaCon before, so it's kind of interesting that they're making a Haslab announcement. But even more so, it's not clear at this time how much of a presence Hasbro's going to have at this convention. Are they going to have a booth? Is it just going to be the Transformer reveal? Are they going to have all their brands? Is it going to be a panel? So those are details that we don't yet know. I suspect if Hasbro is going to have a full-on presence at MegaCon, we'll probably hear something from the Marvel Legend brand team on Friday during their live stream. But right now, all we know is that they've announced that they're going to make the next Transformer Haslab campaign announcement at MegaCon, which at the very least, I'm sure they will have whatever it is that it's going to be. And I have no idea what the next Haslab for Transformers is going to be, but they'll have a prototype probably on display, and the campaign will go live that weekend. So just something to note that we might be getting, Hasbro attending a convention that they don't normally attend, with more reveals. My feeling is if they're going to do a Haslab announcement at this convention, they're going to have a booth so they can show off the Haslab. And if they're going to have a booth, then they're going to have their other brands there as well. So again, that to me is just where my head goes, but hopefully we'll get more details soon. Like I say, if there's going to be some type of like Marvel Legend presence at MegaCon, then I'm sure we'll hear something on Friday. Phil says, unfortunately, one company handles Marvel, one company handles Image, and DC and Dinosaur handles everyone else. Yeah, I mean, as far as going back to comic distribution, I mean, I don't know what the right answer is, because for years and years, I heard many people complain, that Diamond had this monopoly, and because they had a monopoly, they were very hard to deal with. Obviously, like Quinn seems to think Diamond has been very good for him, but I don't know what the solution there is. If Diamond sells those two companies and they don't have Marvel or DC, what would they really do that is sustainable business? Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Diamond doesn't really own any licenses. Like, they don't have their own licenses. Everything is something, they go to other companies and get the permission paid to do products. So, like, they have the Mini-Mates. So, like, they own Mini-Mates. Now, so somebody wanted to do Marvel Mini-Mates or any kind of Mini-Mate, they would have to, that's something Diamond owns. Now, they don't own Marvel. Like, Diamond Select Toys had to go out and get, the license to be able to make Marvel Mini-Mates or Turtle Mini-Mates or Transformer Mini-Mates or whatever Mini-Mate. But the actual Mini-Mate design itself, Diamond Select Toys owns. In Diamond Select Toys, Mini-Mates are actually created by a company called Art Asylum back in the early 2000s. And then Diamond Select Toys ended up buying that company. So, and that's kind of another example. When one company buys another, there is no longer Art Asylum, toys, but many of the types of products Art Asylum made now fall under the Diamond Select Toy umbrella. So, Taylor, yes, Diamond does do a number of statues. Robo Geek says, hoping the Haslab is the Leo Kaiser figure, which is not one I'm super familiar with. I know he's from overseas, the lion-like character. I really feel like I've only backed one Transformer Haslab, which was the Unicron. Again, I'm basically a G1 guy, so I probably will not be backing my guess is whatever the Haslab is, it's not something I'm going to back. Quinn's Comics Entertainment Earth is horrible with distribution and delivery, and I've heard that as well. But that's on the toy side. And I'll be the first to tell you that that whole arrangement has never made a lot of sense to me. How you can be a distributor and sell the toys at the same time, which then puts you in direct competition with the people you're distributing to. That's one of those, when that was announced years ago that Entertainment Earth had become a distributor, and in fact the primary distributor for Hasbro to small like companies and stuff. That was just kind of like that just never made sense to me. But one thing I've learned, I've been covering this stuff for 25 years, and one thing I've learned is often things that happen in this industry are not logical or make a lot of sense. So T'Challa says Transformer Haslab might be Primus, which is certainly a possibility. That's another big one. Unicron's, not originally, but later became kind of Unicron's arch nemesis. So that's a possibility. I wish they would make Haslab a 112 Optimus Prime. It would have to be like 6-inch figures. Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know if you guys, I don't even know the company that makes it, but I've seen some videos popping up where it's a third party company, but they've made this humongous Metroplex, which doesn't even really transform. You actually just assemble it. And I don't think it transforms until like it's city mode. I think it just does the robot mode, but that thing is huge. An arc place. Well, we got the arc. I mean, I know what you're saying. Something more in scale. But if you did an arc playset, it would have to be, you'd have to get a mountainside for it to crash into. A new G1 Metroplex, third party made, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. 4-foot tall Metroplex. Yeah. That thing is like huge. Diamond does distribute Marvel Comics, just not DC. So I thought they continued to distribute. I mean, I know they don't have the monopoly, but I didn't realize that Diamond actually doesn't distribute any DC comics anymore. Like, I just thought it was they opened it up so other distributors could carry the product as well. But I didn't realize DC had actually cut ties with Diamond. If the toy companies don't deliver to the distributors, they can't send us retailers the items we order. Need to place blame where it's warranted. That is a good point. And unfortunately, when it comes to toys and the industry, toy companies often put more precedence on catering to the Walmarts and the Targets than the smaller guys. And of course, in this day and age, many of the toy companies are trying to sell directly to the consumer. Kind of, again, conflict of interest. When the toy manufacturer is selling the same product directly to the consumer that they're also sending out to retailers to sell. There's definitely always in my mind been kind of a big conflict of interest there. But it's different when it's like an occasional exclusive or Haslab that some retailers might not be interested in hearing because of the size or price, something like that. But the everyday products, when the toy company tries and sells it directly, and what you see, where like they sell it direct. Well, not Hasbro doesn't usually do this. Sometimes maybe, but like NECA is one that's become really bad, where like they're trying to sell things. If it's not at Target, they're trying to sell it on their own NECA store before they're even letting other e-tailers solicit the stuff. And, NECA is a company to me where I don't know. I just kind of shake my head at these days. Lunar is owned by DC Comics. They are their own distributor. See, I did not know that. Again, I do not follow the comic side of the business that closely, so that I did not know. Like I say, I know back in the day, Diamond was the go-to for everybody. For pretty much every comic, every toy that was carried at a comic book store usually came from Diamond. Previews magazine. Um, but ever since the monopoly kind of got broken up, it, I really have not really known how that works. NECA has been having distribution problems as of late too. Yep. I mean, the whole thing with the sewer layer fiasco last year, and I don't even know, like, people stopped talking about it, but like, I don't even know what the outcome with that was. Like, did those people that didn't get the Donatello Lab diorama, has NECA ever contacted them to let them know what's going on? Did they get refunds? Is NECA still saying that they'll get them out to people? And if you're not aware of the situation, last year NECA sent out duplicate, like, Donatello Labs, like, somebody who pre-ordered it ended up getting, like, and I don't know how widespread, but it seems like it was fairly widespread, but like, it's like they screwed up their shipping, and so some people got multiples of the Donatello Lab even when they only ordered one, and then others who ordered the Donatello Lab didn't get it at all. And then NECA tried to get people who got duplicates to send them back, and then there was all this NECA's making threats to people who got doubles and didn't send them back and all that jazz. And but at the end of the day, I don't know what the final outcome with that was. And that's not the only snafu that NECA had last year with shipping and stuff. But again, this also is something where it's like, this is what happens when a toy manufacturer also tries to become a toy retailer, and they're taking on all this extra stuff, and they're not really set up for it. And when things start to fall apart, it doesn't go well. That's where I feel like toy manufacturers should manufacture the toys, and let the toy retailer sell the toys. And that's really just kind of how I see it. I'm still waiting for my Eastman and Last Ronin Ralph from NECA, and they tell me, sorry, it's shipping soon. Yeah, well, it's like, their San Diego Comic Con exclusives last year. Like, I got mine in like October. I didn't sit there and pester them saying, "Hey, where's my shipment?" I figured it would show up eventually, but like, it literally, you know, I bought it in July. It was supposed to ship out a few weeks later, and I didn't get it till like October or November. And I know a lot of people were in that same situation with those San Diego Comic Con exclusives. And the other thing with NECA is their communication is horrible. Like, I think people can be pretty forgiving. If you're putting out a product that people want, then they're probably going, they might bitch a bit online, but they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt if it means getting the product that they want. But I feel like, companies, when they go quiet and they don't like address these things, that just makes it worse for them, not better. Um, and NECA definitely, in my view, has not been very good at communicating these days. And I feel like some of that is probably due to manpower. Like, they don't have the people in place to do some of this stuff effectively. When it comes to NECA, people make mistakes, and they did offer to give people $100 and free shipping labels to send it back. A little understanding goes a long way. And I agree. Like, if you were somebody who got a duplicate Donatello Lab, then I feel like you should have sent it back. But the problem was, from what I heard from people, is some people were getting the threats and they didn't even actually get to. Like, NECA thought they got to. Now, I have no way of confirming those people whether they did get to or not, but a lot of people said I didn't get two, I only got one, and I'm getting these emails, and I've tried contacting NECA to let them know that I only got one, and I've gotten no response back. Um, and so that's really the big thing. I think making the offer, at the end of the day, they made the mistake, and if somebody chose to keep it for whatever reason, to resell it or whatever, I don't think there's much you can do about it. You can ask them to return it, and I think a lot of collectors would be willing to return it, with the $100, especially with the $100 credit and the shipping and all that. But I don't think everyone's going to return it, and I don't think you can resort to like making kind of ridiculous threats. You can't really, saying we're not going to let you buy our products on our store is kind of stupid. And and the other things that they were kind of indicating, I don't even think they could really enforce. So it was bad PR that they let happen because they didn't really address the situation. And again, I don't even, to this day, I don't know if they've resolved that for people or not. You can read things different ways, and some people want to call it a threat when it wasn't intent. Well, see, yeah, when you're saying we're not going to let you buy our products at our stores if you don't return this, and even I think they said, if I remember, so I won't swear to this 100%, but I think they said, if you don't send this back, we're going to charge you for the second one. And I don't think they can legally do that. And I would very much consider that a threat. You're right. People can read it different ways, but in my view, that's, if you're telling somebody and that you're going to charge them for something, especially if you didn't even get it. And then when, like, if I got an email from NECA that said, our records show that you got a second Donatello lab, and if you don't send it back, we're going to charge you for the second one. And I contact them back and say, I don't know why your records say this, but I only got one. So please don't charge me for something I didn't get. And then I get no response back. That's not a good thing. I mean, and again, I can only go by what people were saying online. It's hard to, say, as far as NECA saying that they were going to start charging people, I think did happen. But, as far as whether people tried to work it out with NECA or what, I have no way of 100% confirming that. But I saw a lot of different people have similar stories in regards to that, which to me just was not a good look overall for NECA. 100%, I feel like if you got a second one, you should return it if they asked you to, and they give you the shipping label and everything. But I don't think you can, like I say, they should have just basically said, hey, we totally screwed up. If you got a second one, please reach out to us. Let us know you got it. We will send you out a shipping label, and we will give you $100 credit if you send it back to us, which we would really appreciate that you do. And I think that's basically all you could do at that point. And then hope that the majority of people who got duplicates send them back. But I don't think you then should be pestering them or making, these further statements about we're not going to let you shop at our store, or we're going to try and charge you for the second one or whatever. To me, that, like I say, it was NECA's mistake. They screwed up pretty badly. I don't know how they screwed up that badly and didn't catch it. And it was like months had gone by, and before they even, seemed to realize what was happening. And so somebody probably should have been from NECA probably should have been fired, and maybe they were, I don't know. But I don't think, the way NECA handled it, I just don't think was very good. I think they could have handled it a lot better. All right, well, we're over the hour. I think we've gone over everything. Again, Friday, Marvel Legend live stream. Hopefully we'll get some good reveals. Again, my money, again, just to get, well, I 99.9% sure we will see the No Way Home Electro figure. There also should be I don't necessarily know if it's going to be revealed this week, but also with Electro this year, we're going to see the Spider-Man 3 Tobey Maguire in the symbiote suit figure. So it's possible they could show that one as well, but that one I really don't know. I'm pretty sure that's coming this year, but whether they show it or not, I don't know. But Electro, most definitely. And then my guess, and again, just my guess, the Marvel comic or the Marvel Legends mini comic wave with Rom, Banshee, and those others that I mentioned before is where I feel like good chance we're going to end up seeing on Friday, with maybe a few other things, sprinkled in there. But, they did do 2 waves. I guess at the last live stream, they did reveal 2 waves, full waves of figures, plus, multiple store exclusives. So, maybe they'll show off more. I don't know. But yeah, that's it for today. As always, guys, for those of you who have become Action Figure Enthusiast channel members, again, we are at last count up to 35. Much appreciated for you guys. Link in the video description if you want to think about doing that is always appreciated. But as always, stay safe out there. The world's a dangerous place, especially for those of you out in LA. Hopefully you all are safe from the fires, which are still going on. Last time I checked. So, like I said, it's a dangerous world out there, but hopefully you guys are staying safe. And until next time, guys, I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,